My name is Tan. I'm currently a director at Zoom Starts. I used to work on a coffee house, but today we're going to talk about something else.
Hi, my name is Nee. I'm actually was invited by Tan to join force with him in this section, and we're gonna talk about insights. Why are we the people to gonna share with you about the insights? Because I'm someone from agency side, and he's been a veteran in client for more than 10 years. So we think that with our experience from both sides, we should be able to shed you some light or provide some common ground of what is an insight and what is the process to find one.
And the important thing is that it works both ways. It's not like who owns it entirely. It's supposed to be things that people build together as a team. So you get to hear from the best of both worlds. At one point in time in my career, I was having this interview with a global technology company. After some exchange of pleasantry, the interviewer asked a question which is very direct to the point and simple. So she asks, you aspire to lead our marketing function. What exactly is your superpower then? Right? It was a good question, and you can also use it to ask your interviewer later too. Back to my story, I told my interviewer that I was able to find the insight and translate it into a campaign. As a result of that skill, or superpower as they call it, I always grew the business double digit across category that I work on. Starting my career selling copiers at Canon Marketing, food supplement, bird nest, and then shampoos. And then at one point I was selling socks and then coffee at the coffee house. As well recently some personal care brands. Never once have we failed to deliver double-digit growth. Of course, we recognize that we got a lot of help from partners, my team, and their unquestionable supports. As for my unique contribution, my strength drawn from the ability to sort through all the seas of data and a lot of noises in order to establish the insight that would translate into consumer mantra that the brand team and partners can make good use of as they help the brands churning out the result-yielding campaigns. Right? Please note that I'm not the only one on this. All the great marketers you know and all the brand builders you know have launched impressive campaigns and bring the result to the brand that change the game. The inspired process are all having the same ability that we are going to share with you this time to draw out the insight from consumers, from partners, from category, from the market, and make those insights work for them.
So I consider myself quite lucky as I have worked both in the shoes of a client and both agency for quite a while now, 7 to 8 years. So I can guarantee you that whether from the research companies or whether from creative agencies or marketing companies nowadays are unanimous in demanding insights. And it seems that there's always a gap between each person's point of view about what an insight is because of the difference in our functionality. So today, Tan and I joined force, and actually Tan was one of my former clients as well. We want to join force in an joint effort, very first one, to provide a common ground, something that both him as a client and me as an agency person can both agree on the following things. Number one, what is an insight? Number two, what are the techniques that are gonna help you uncover a high potency insight? And lastly, ultimately, who should be the champion? Who should be the sole owner for the whole process of insight uncovering and mining? So, what exactly an insight? I think insight is like so worn out. It's such a buzzword that everybody's talking about. But then, what is exactly an insight? The researchers or the marketers, the clients, and the creative agencies first gonna have different understanding and their own take of insight. But then we should be agreeing that there's common ground. So what are those? So an insight is often a very deep understanding of the motivations, the attitudes, the lifestyle, beliefs, and feelings, the tension and the fictions in a consumer life. But it has to be seen in a new light. It has to be seen in a new light so that when it's activated, it's gonna cause a reaction or very most importantly, a change in behaviors that ultimately gonna result and benefit the business or the enterprise. So we notice the components that make up an insight. So number one, it must be very solid knowledge. It shouldn't be whimsical or your own idea of how people live their life. Number two, it has to be seen under a new perspective. Under a new light. And lastly, it has to be actionable and result oriented. Something that your business and your brand has the authority to work on. And so that it can result in a consumer change in behavior or lifestyle that ultimately will translate into the critical purchase actions. So of course, if your company is all about selling cigarettes, it's going to be hard for you to solve cancer issues, right? So yeah. So moving on, what should be the process for generating insights? I know that we all have different processes and steps, but here we try to provide the most common one, the most basic one, called the DUI process. So D stands for data and information. So this is when you gather all the bits and pieces of information from important sources, of course, and then you review all relevant data in order to have a broad understanding of the consumer life in the broader context and in the category context. And then the next step is called U. U stands for understanding. So this is a stage when we try to pick up cues and we look for common threads. We start to form hypotheses. We try to cluster different types of things that the brand can address or resolve. Things that reveal an underlying pattern, something that potentially. And finally, I stands for insights. So it's like that needle point when you finally arrive at and articulate a very clear, high potency insight, which the brand's role is resolved is very clear, very relevant.
Right. So finding DUI and then translating the insight into campaign might sound pretty straightforward. However, there's a lot going on between, right? And we like to walk you through that.